See what these turns are going to be like. So it looks like Azul is starting things over on his side with a Buzzwole in the active. Drew starting with a Mew from Fates Collide and a Grubbin on the bench.
Right.
I know this is a matchup Azul is very familiar with. I believe he had to beat at least one in top 8, and I believe another one in day 2 of the Brazilian International Championships, but just a Guzma and a pass, no energy attachment from Azul.
Right, but bringing that Grubbin up, being able to like knock that out eventually so he doesn't get those Vikavolts out is going to be crucial in this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. If Drew is unable to get Vikavolts in play, unable to get those strong charges, you know, that the deck kind of falls apart at that point. It really relies on Vikavolt's strong charge ability, of course, searching a grass and a lightning type energy out of the deck and attaching them to any of your Pokemon in any way that you like.
Drew's currently looking through his deck thanks to that Tapu Lele, searching for what I can only assume is going to be a Bridget.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of these Bulu decks don't play Bridget, but looks like Drew is opting to play it here today. It's kind of a debated thing in the community, right? Do I play the Bridget version? Do I play the Lily version? Maybe I play one of each. I don't know. It's kind of a debated thing, and it looks like Drew is just getting that turn 1 Bridget here.
I mean, to be fair, though, the Bulu deck has been debated. Is it bad? Is it good?
Oh, yeah.
So it's only fitting that Bulu has options now.
Absolutely. So a very good turn from Drew here. He does get the other Grubbin in play. He's got a Mew in play, which will be great. Hitting for weakness, of course, on that Buzzwole GX. Gets the Grass Energy on the Bulu, and we'll see what else he has in his hands to work with this turn.
Doesn't look like much else. He only has a few cards left.
He does have the Oranguru in play, though, so maybe if he can play 1 or 2 more cards, he could maybe get an extra draw with Oranguru. But no, looks like it's just going to be the pass over to Azul.
Azul looking like he's about to play a Ultra Ball down, searching for another Pokemon.
Yeah, and you just see a really smart play from Azul here, why he's one of the best in the game. You know, he had an Ultra Ball, he had a Sycamore in his hand last turn. He could have gone for a draw supporter, but chose to play the Guzma to bring up the Grubbin. He knows that these Vikavolt Tapu Bulu decks play very low counts of switching cards. Some don't even play any switching cards besides Guzma. So by bringing this Grubbin up, he knew that he was going to have turns to chip away at it potentially, and uses this Ultra Ball to get a Regirock, and now a Max Elixir coming out.
See if he hits it. Max Elixir getting that basic fighting energy onto that Rockruff.
Absolutely. We know in Brazil, for example, lots of players were playing 9 and 10 basic fighting energies, but Azul upped his count all the way to 11, says, I never want to miss these Elixir. Getting these attachments is so important, and it's paying off for him here, it looks like.
It is definitely important. We have seen on past streams before, everyone hitting the strong energies instead of those basics.
Of course, only being able to attach basic energies. It looks like he's going to just Bloodthirsty Eyes, bring up the other Grubbin. Of course, doesn't really change the board state, but I think Azul just having a little bit of fun for the stream here.
And throwing down our favorite supporter of the day, Cynthia, for a fresh hand of 6.
Yep, getting a new 6 here, and we'll see if he can find a fighting energy. Like I said, he didn't attach one last turn. He's got the one on Lycanroc, but I think he'd love to get a Jet Punch off this turn if he could.
Putting chip damage onto those Grubbins is crucial right now.
Yep.
Making sure they don't evolve into Vikavolts is the ideal situation.
Absolutely. He did get a fighting energy as well as benching a Mew from Fates Collide.
But here we go, seeing the Jet Punch onto that Grubbin.
Yeah, so it looks like he will do 40 damage to the active because of that Regirock's Power ability, boosting fighting type Pokemon's attacks by 10. And then do 30 damage to the Grubbin. And this actually sets up some great math potentially for next turn. If Drew is unable to evolve either of these Grubbins and Azul can get a Guzma, he could take out both Grubbins in one single attack by Guzmaing the benched Grubbin, hitting it for 40, and then hitting the one he just hit for 40 for 30.
Ooh, that would really slow down Drew.
Yep.
That Bulu would not be powered up. Sadly.
But of course, these Tapu Bulu decks are built to get this turn 2 Vikavolt, so anytime you see them play a Skyla, normally that's going to signify they're going to get one of the cards they need that's going to find them the pieces to get that card.
Right. There's the Rare Candy.
Rare Candy coming out. Definitely looks like a turn 2 Vikavolt to me, so that'll take away that option for Azul, but still putting that damage in play on those Grubbins. That'll make the Vikavolts, which are weak to fighting, easier to knock out later on with something like a Jet Punch.
And not only that, only having one Vikavolt versus 2 still hinders Drew so much.
Absolutely. And looks like Drew Was taking a little while to make that decision because he had to discard 2 pretty important cards there. Looks like he got rid of, I think, a Cynthia and a Super Rod. That might be a Guzma on the end, but I think it's a Cynthia.
I think it's a Cynthia as well,
Yeah.
but that is for sure Super Rod, which
Yes.
is something the Vikabulu deck definitely needs late game to get those energy back.
Yeah, getting those energy back so important. Of course, Tapu Bulu GX's Nature Judgment attack does 120 damage base, but you can choose to discard the energy attached and do even more damage. You can choose to do up to you do 60 more damage by discarding, so that's 180 with the choice band, 210, which is what he's going to need to knock out these Tapu Bulus. So we see Drew played all the way down to 0 and was able to instruct for 3. Let's see what he has off of these 3. Is there anything else he can really play?
Manual attachment to the Mew, it looks like. That hand is...
He drew 3 energies. He drew 3 energies off of his instruct. He drew a Grass and 2 Lightning energies. That is definitely not what you want to see. Looks like he's going to still get 2 out, though, with that Strong Charge. He can't attach them however he likes to any of his Pokemon, but, man, that is, that's not great if you're Drew.
Not at all. But at least if he goes into his next turn, he can at least hopefully instruct for another one.
Yep. For sure. Looks like he is going to put them on the Tapu Bulu. Debating it. Maybe going to split the energies up a little bit. Looks like we're going to see 1 on the Bulu at least.
He's got to do his math. Quick
Just trying to figure out what he wants to do.
Keeping us on our toes today.
Yeah,
going on the Mew, it looks like.
Looks like he was just kind of unsure about what he wanted to do. Looks like he's actually opting to attach to Vikavolt as well.
Interesting choice.
Maybe he, has identified Azul's strategy a little bit here. We know Azul went for that Guzma early on the Grubbin to kind of, slow Drew down a little bit. So maybe he's saying, hey, I'm going to put this energy here so that if he does Guzma and try to strand my Vikavolt, I can just Strong Charge to it once and try to remove it. Azul going for a Tapu Lele. He's going to find him a Guzma. That might bring up this Vikavolt, and that might just, he might try to do a lot of damage to this. And whatever he brings up, he can just... knock out the Grubbin as well with a 30 damage Jet Punch. If he does have a fighting energy, though, he could also try to go for the Dangerous Rogue GX with the Lycanroc, and I think that might be what he's thinking.
Definitely an interesting play to go for.
Looks like he's going to get a Professor Sycamore here, and just kind of valuing getting a little more set up. I think he doesn't have any Remoraid in play yet, so he needs to get Octilleries out. That's really important for these Buzzwole decks later on in the game. They don't have the same draw engine that these Zoroark decks do of being able to trade with their main attacker.
He does end up going for the Sudowoodo. One of my personal favorite cards so far. Watch and learn Sudowoodo.
Very good. Also extremely good against Tapu Bulu specifically. Being able to copy Nature's Judgment to easily pick up knockouts on Tapu Bulus.
Right. So there goes the knockout on the poor little Grubbin.
Debating where to put the 30. Looks like he's just going to put it on to the Vikavolt. And I like this. It makes it so it's very easy to knock this Vikavolt out with a Jet Punch in the coming turns.
Mew coming up to bat for Drew here.
And let's see what he top decked. We know
it wasn't an energy.
It wasn't an energy, so he might have something playable at least in this hand.
Let's hope. So far, I know there's 1 Lightning, 1 Grass, and hopefully some sort of supporter.
Yep, looks like he is opting to go ahead and Strong Charge here first. Gets out a Lightning and a Grass energy. And I think this will probably go on to the Mew. Mew, of course, with that Memories of Dawn ability, I believe it is called, lets it copy the attacks of your benched basic Pokemon. So he can copy Nature's Judgment with Tapu Bulu, and since Mew is a Psychic type, it just knocks out Bulu without having to discard the energies.
Right, and not only that, it's a 1 prize attacker giving a 2 prize attacker
Absolutely. Very good trade-off if you are Drew. But Azul does have his own Mew on the bench, which can honestly just very easily Jet Punch to knock out this Mew since, it's a very powerful Pokemon, but he's a little guy with only 50 HP.
Exactly. Drew ended up getting an N.
So great card to draw there.
He'll be getting a fresh hand of 6, hopefully not 6 energy.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're Drew, I think he's feeling pretty good here. He is very well set up. He's got the Mew that's going to take the knockout on this Buzzwole. He's got a Bulu fully powered up on the bench. And, lots of options for him. But if I'm Drew, I'm also very scared of that Sudowoodo on Azul's side.
Oh, yeah, that Sudowoodo is definitely a threat.
Absolutely.
Does go for the field blower onto that Regirock's float stone.
Yep, just taking that out of play, limiting some of Azul's options for like retreating later on in the game, maybe with Guzma play or something like that.
Right.
Just, you know.
Here comes the third grubbin out from a lovely nest ball.
Yeah, he definitely wanted to get that in play this turn because if Azul was able to knock out this only Vikavolt, he wouldn't have access to it. Or have access to strong charge on the following turn.
Right. It's always good to have that. Keep your engine going.
Yep.
All right. There's the knockout for 2 prizes off that Buzzwall.
Very clear from Drew with the hand motions there. I'm going to Nature's Judgment with no discard. So taking that knockout. And Azul just sends up that Mew from Fate's Collide. Brooklet Hill finds him that Buzzwole GX. And he'll be able to Jet Punch knock out this Mew and still put 30 damage somewhere on the bench.
Right.
And this is really great for Azul as well because he's just really able to spread his energy around. I could see him attaching to either Sudowoodo or Buzzwole here. I think attaching to Sudowoodo is probably fine. You only need one more attachment the next turn. And you know, like, Drew's basically only attack he's going to be able to do is Nature's Judgment.
It's putting a lot of pressure on Drew to make the correct plays here because one wrong move and that Sudowoodo is smashing you.
Well, I suppose what Drew could do to respond to this, because Azul is almost certainly going to be going for that Jet Punch knockout here. Drew can just Strong Charge to the Tapu Lele and Energy Drive, and then Azul can't Watch and Learn the Energy Drive, but Azul does still have the option to Dangerous Rogue GX with that Lycanroc with 1 energy on it. So he's just leaving himself with options to respond to anything Drew does on his side.
And that's what makes this deck so popular and strong in this format right now is the fact that it has so many options.
Absolutely. So many different threats in all of the various attackers. Azul just throwing these tools down, getting everything in play that he needs.
Opting, it looks like, to put the damage on the Vikavolt still.
Yep, just going to keep targeting that guy down. He's already put 60 on it. He's like, you know what, we'll throw another 30. We'll keep it up to 90. And, you know, maybe he'll just knock it out eventually from Jet Punch, honestly.
It's always an option there. We have not seen Drew get anything to help him get another Vikavolt out.
And Drew kind of mulling over his decision here of what he wants to send up. He has options, but Azul has, you know, options to respond to anything that Drew's going to do. Like, if he goes for a Guzma knockout with the Bulu on the Lycanroc, then Azul just needs 1 energy to respond with the Sudowoodo. If Drew goes for the Tapu Lele Energy Drive, he can respond with Dangerous Rogue. Honestly, from Drew, I wouldn't have hated to see an attack with a Rangaroo here for Psychic 60 damage, takes the knockout, and, you know, Azul, you know, might be able to Jet Punch it. But ultimately, I don't know that that really gets Drew anywhere since he put 3 energy on a Rangaroo that he doesn't necessarily always want to attack with.
It's not the ideal thing Azul wants to knock out right now, and that Lele is an easy 2 prizes, which would put Azul down to 2.
Yeah, very easy for these Buzzwole decks to take knockouts on these Leles, either with a Knuckle Impact on Buzzwole GX or even a Dangerous Rogue GX, as we may see this coming turn. But Drew's Strong Charging here, debating where he wants to put his energy.
Right. 1 energy to the Lele, and it looks like that's all he's getting. He's Is he potentially out?
He definitely could be. He's discarded at least 2, I think. There's a chance.
Discarded at least 3 off that Mew.
Yes, at least 3. Sorry, I was meaning just the basic Grass Energy. But I thought maybe he had one in his hand. But there's a Grass Energy there, so maybe he's going to just use this Lightning to retreat the Tapu Lele. It looks like he's actually he used an Ultra Ball here. He found a Tapu Lele, and he's going to go for a Guzma on this turn, it looks like. So I'm not sure what he's going to want to target down here. He'll have his pick of Azul's bench. He can knock anything out over on that side. Azul does have the 2 Grass-weak Pokemon in Lycanroc and Sudowoodo.
Does go for the Lycanroc, which I think is a very solid play right here with that Grass weakness on Lycanroc. Makes it a very easy target.
Absolutely. Very easy for Tapu Bulu to knock out. He won't have to discard the energy, but all Azul will need is 1 fighting energy, basic or strong, and he'll be able to respond with a Watch and Learn, copying that Nature's Judgment to, you know, take the knockout here.
Right.
Yep, looks like we'll see a Nature's Judgment with no discard. And I don't think Azul has a fighting yet. He probably would have just sent the Sudowoodo up right away. Probably going to send the Mew up, actually, since it does have free retreat. You can always just move it.
And there we see the Mew coming right up. Drawing for a turn. It looks like he got another strong energy, so that is an option to bring that Sudowoodo up should he want to just get a revenge KO there.
Absolutely, he does have that Sudowoodo, but it's actually kind of a tricky spot for Azul, honestly. He can put the energy on Sudowoodo and get the knockout, but then if Drew is able to respond and knock out Azul's Sudowoodo, Azul has no energies in play besides the one on the Mew. And that's going to be really tough. And I think this is what Drew was thinking last turn when he put the lightning energy on the Tapu Lele, is that he can use Tapu Lele's energy drive to knock out the Sudowoodo this coming turn.
Right. But we do see our friend Cynthia come out for another fresh hand of 6. Hopefully finding a basic energy, possibly.
It's interesting. I'm pretty sure Azul did have a strong energy in that hand, but maybe... I don't know, maybe, I'm not sure why he decided not to attach that. Maybe he's wanting to, you know, just put it back into the deck to have the option to find it later. I'm not sure.
I think that he's trying to find something for the Sudowoodo, maybe save it for the Buzzwole later.
I think this might be what he was doing. He was hoping to find an elixir, and if he hits the elixir, then he can figure out where he wants to attach his energy for turn.
That works too. Well, hello there, Mew.
Mew popping up, letting us know that he is known. We're not quite sure where this Max Elixir energy is going. It looks like it went to the Sudowoodo. So, so Sudowoodo will be able to come up and take the knockout here. And Azul can now, because of this, attach an energy to like the Buzzwole or the Mew even this turn if he wants to.
Right. So there is another basic energy going to the Mew, going to discard those energies to kill off that Tapu Bulu.
Yeah, using Watch and Learn with with Mew as opposed to the Sudowoodo. Very smart play from Azul here. He keeps the Sudowoodo in play, and you know, if Drew does put 3 energies on the Tapu Lele to KO the Mew, Azul should still be able to respond with that strong energy plus the Choice Band plus the Red Rock. Like I said earlier, guys, there's just so many damage modifiers and so many support tools for these fighting decks.
It's really unreal, and it only gets better with the next set coming out.
Absolutely. I mean, something definitely worth noting, Drew does just have 2 prizes remaining, so he could win this turn if he found a really good hand of like Bulu, Grass Energy, plus Energy Recycler, plus Guzma, but I think if he had that combo, he would have played it down already.
Right, but it does look like he is mulling over playing down a potential Bulu.
Yeah, it looks like it is a
with
Bulu.
An energy? Oh no, with a choice band. He does have a Grass Energy in hand, I did see.
Yeah, I think I did see it as well. Looks like he's going to Strong Charge.
Does have it.
Grass and a Lightning in the deck. I wasn't sure if he had any Lightnings left because he has gone through a lot of them.
He has. And he did discard that Super Rod very early in the game.
He did.
So I have a feeling we will see these go down. Oh, we see them go onto the Oranguru. So
this is kind of that play I was talking about a little earlier. It looks like he's going to go for that Psychic and just go for a Sycamore here. So Azul, I'm sure, was breathing a big sigh of relief there that Drew did not have the combo of Guzma, Grass Energy, Bulu, Choice Band. But looks like debating a heavy ball.
There goes the heavy ball.
At this point, just thinning the deck out. You know, he's not going to need another Vikavolt because this game is going to. Drew knows this game is going to end in the next turn or 2. So.
Right.
Looks like he didn't have the other Vikavolt in deck. It must be prized because he does have a rare candy in his hand.
Mm-hmm. Field blowing away 2 choice bands.
Definitely very strong. Limits the Sudowoodo's damage output.
Not sure there's much else he can do beyond retreat and attack here.
Yeah, and after this, it's kind of hard. Azul can, you know, watch and learn Psychic, and due to Oranguru's fighting weakness, it would take a knockout. He'd go down to 1 prize, but then Drew's at 1 prize, and he should, with, you know, the Vikavolt in play and the Bulu, pretty easily be able to knock out the Sudowoodo. So
right.
It puts Azul in a kind of tough spot. I'm kind of wondering if Azul is maybe wishing, maybe I could have put that fighting energy on the Buzzwole so that I could maybe attach plus Elixir plus get a knockout.
Right, because he needs to knock out that Vikavolt, I think, because otherwise we're going to see a strong charge next turn.
Yeah, well, I mean, Azul is just at 2 prizes remaining, so if he could knock out Lele or Bulu, it could give him the win potentially. But Psychic here, you know, it's a tough spot because now Drew's at just 1 prize. So if Azul doesn't win the game this turn, it's very likely Drew will be able to win on the next turn.
Right.
See Brooklet Hill for Azul. I'm not sure that he has a... I think he does have at least one more Buzzwole left, so he may put that down just to thin the deck out. He does have Octillery in his hand, so he'll have that option to draw cards if he can thin his hand down to below 5.
Right. There's a strong energy onto that Buzzwole. And an N.
Into 2, putting Drew down to just 1. And if Azul does go for the Watch and Learn here, he will knock out the Oranguru, meaning Drew is just going to be relying on the 1 card off of the N plus whatever card he top decks for the turn.
Right.
So this is going to be a close one, guys. I'm not sure how this is going to finish up. I think it's honestly just going to come down to what Drew gets off of these 2 cards.
Right.
If he finds the grass energy he needs, he can take the knockout. If he finds Rare Candy plus Vikavolt, he can take the knockout. If he took the Vikavolt off the prizes or something like that. Abyssal Hand here draws Azul up to 5.
Ultra Ball discarding 2. Finding nothing. Just to thin it out.
Yeah, just getting rid of those cards at this point. If Drew were to play an in or something, those are 2 cards Azul doesn't want to see.
Floatstone back on that Regirock, just in case. We do see that Buzzwole come out.
Actually choosing to retreat as opposed to knocking out with the Pseudo-Wudo, taking those energies out of play. I think at this point just spreading a little more damage so that Azul can actually Jet Punch and knock out the Vikavolt next turn that has 120 damage on it now.
Right.
So Drew has to win this turn, or Azul will win. They're at 1 prize apiece. This is extremely close, guys. Not sure how this is going to finish up. I think if Drew had it, he would have played it down. What's this 1 card? It's a Professor Sycamore. If he finds 1 grass energy, he will be able to win the game if he doesn't draw all of his other energies, which would be an issue.
Does not. Oh, there's an electric energy in hand.
Unfortunately for Drew, there is a lightning energy, not a grass energy. He doesn't have the energy he needs to get the knockout here, and I think Azul's going to be able to win this game with a Jet Punch, knocking out that Vikavolt on the bench with 120 damage on it.
Right. Such a shame.
Drew's just looking at his hand like, is there anything I can do? Any options? No, there's nothing. He just throws his cards on the table, concedes the game, misses the grass energy. That is extremely unfortunate. I think there was at least 3 in the deck.
There was, but it wasn't for another few turns till he could have gotten it.
Yeah, it looks like he did prize a grass energy as well, so that's just 1 less he has access to throughout the game, which, does make a difference. And we're going to head into a game 2 here.
It's unfortunately how the cards are drawn sometimes in the game of Pokemon.
So looking at this game, it was extremely close, right? I think
of course
both of these players were in contention to win the game at, in coming down to the last 2 turns. Do you think that Drew needs to change anything to better himself in this second game?
Honestly, I don't think so. He played this deck very well, I thought. My only issue was he was relying on that, I have to draw the energy as my out, whereas maybe he could have figured out something else, but it's really hard to tell. There's a reason why he's playing, and I'm over here.
Yeah, I think he did really everything he could to increase his odds of drawing that grass energy. It just, unfortunately, like you said, that's the game of Pokemon. It does happen sometimes. Even if you do everything correctly, sometimes you just miss what you need, unfortunately.
Sometimes you just need to believe in the heart of the cards a little bit more.
But both of these guys played extremely well that game. I'm impressed by both of these players, and I would expect nothing less from a longtime veteran from Drew's side, and Azul being one of the best players in the game right now. Actually, Azul, first place in the world currently in championship points.
Really? Wow.
Yes, over 2,000 championship points in the TCG, more than anyone else.
So fun fact, we actually have #1 in the world for VGC and TCG here at this tournament.
That's awesome. I did not realize the VGC #1 player was here as well. So
he is. He's actually from Italy and has shown up.
Very awesome.
So here we go into game 2, it seems. We're going to draw our 7 cards.
Drew will certainly be going first. You do get the option to choose, do you want to go first or second, but there's absolutely no disadvantage to going first. Drew's hand.
Drew started, I think, with a Bulu, and it seems that Azul has a Remoraid as well as a Rockruff. I have a feeling the Rockruff will be active.
Drew has a lot of energy in his hand, and top deck's a Bulu, which is great. And actually something else that's really good for Drew is that, both of these Pokemon in play for Azul are weak to grass. Horn Attack does 30 damage, And he can potentially get the knockout on one of these next turn before they're able to evolve, since he did get to go first.
Would you see that Brooklet Hill come down, allowing Azul to grab another fighting or water basic Pokemon?
Yep.
We do see that Buzzwole come out. Unsurprising there.
Absolutely. Very powerful Pokemon, and I think Azul is has an elixir in his hand, so we'll see if he can get some extra energy in play this turn. He could theoretically have a super crazy turn where he popped off and got energy attachment, double elixir, floatstone, and got a knockout turn 1 on this Bulu.
That would be unreal.
It would be pretty unreal. I'm not counting on it, but, you know, the chance is there. So
we've seen weirder things here.
We have. So it looks like 6 cards from the elixir, does find a basic fighting energy, and gets it onto the Buzzwole.
See. Azul currently shuffling up really well there.
Yeah, he has energies in his hand, so he'll have the option. I'm not sure if he has a supporter card in his hand or not yet.
Looks he does have the Guzma.
Going to be a Guzma. Bring up the Bulu with no energy, and just going to spread 30 and 30.
Pretty solid chip damage for both those Pokemon, weakening them just a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the big thing on Drew's side of the field, we didn't even mention, he didn't get a Grubbin in play turn 1.
Oh, you are right.
So there is no chance for a Vikavolt this turn. He played no supporter, so Azul knows that this is not a very good start for Drew. Looks like Drew's going to just Brooklet Hill here. He's going to... I think Drew's using Brooklet Hill and had a Professor Sycamore on top of his deck.
He did.
So he would have drawn it next turn, but since he's Brooklet Hilling, he will not draw it next turn, and it's going to be some other random card from his deck. I think Drew is in a dead draw situation here, unfortunately.
It's quite a pickle for him right now, but he could at least find one energy at some point. He could start giving his own chip damage at least.
Yeah, Horn Attack for 30. He does have energy in his hand, but unfortunately it is Lightning Energy, which doesn't work with Tapu Bulu's GX's Horn Attack. Yeah, really unfortunate. Opening up with he opened up with 3 energy in that opening hand is definitely not what you want to do.
We end up seeing the Field Blower come down to get rid of that Brooklet Hill. We don't want Azul setting up anymore.
Oh yeah,
at this point.
Taking away that setup option is definitely great.
And retaliating with his own Guzma.
Oh, so this is not too bad. He's going to take out Azul's potential draw out next turn. He's going to be able to instruct for a card as well. And Horn Attack will take the knockout on Remoraid, and I don't think Azul had another supporter or anything in his hand. He does have an energy, though, and I think we will honestly probably see an Absorption GX this turn.
And our friend Cynthia, yet again,
returns to the stream. Cynthia being a mainstay today, it looks like, and I'm pretty sure that'll be a consistent theme throughout the day.
I have a feeling it will as well. When the card was first printed, I remember everyone being so excited for a new consistent draw card that doesn't give your opponent cards as well.
Yep, absolutely. Very, very powerful. And wow, Azul drew a lot of energy off of that Cynthia, it looks like. I don't see any other any other Buzzwole GXs. But yeah, I think if you're Azul here, I think you're totally fine going for like an Absorption GX to just try to use Knuckle Impact on the following turn.
And it looks like that's what he's debating, and does go for it, taking his 2 prizes.
Yeah, doing 240 damage to the active Tapu Bulu, more than enough to take the KO. Drew's just going to have to send up this poor Oranguru and hope that he can find something in the next couple turns.
Looks like he has another Lightning Energy in hand.
Ooh, does get the Nest Ball, so that can maybe find him a Grubbin, so he can try to get a Vikavolt in play, maybe try to develop something this game.
It might be too late for that, because we will see another punch come out just to put some more chip damage on that.
Yeah. So much damage going to come into play next turn. If Azul can find a Guzma plus like a Floatstone or maybe even an Energy, he can knock out the Bulu on Drew's side. You know, but based on how Azul has played this matchup so far, he may be fine just going for a Jet Punch and putting a little damage on that Grubbin. And actually, if Azul did get a Guzma, I don't think he would Guzma the Bulu. He would probably Guzma the Grubbin, to be honest, and take that Vikavolt option out of play.
Right. Tapu Lele coming down for the Wonder Tag, getting a supporter out.
Yep.
Looks like Drew is asking how many cards to him for the potential of an N, maybe?
Yeah, N would be very good here, actually, putting Azul to just 4 cards, and he has no Octillery set up. He does still have a lot of supporter cards in his deck. You know, we are still pretty early on in this game, too. So it looks like that's why he's going to opt for the Professor Sycamore here with the Tapu Lele. But Sycamore is unfortunate as well because it will force him to discard that Vikavolt in his hand as well as a Lightning Energy.
That's not the ideal right here, but...
Lightning Energy going to go on to the Tapu Lele GX. I think Sycamore discarded a Guzma and a Vikavolt, which is, you know, two pretty important cards.
Right.
So it looks like Drew does have an Ultra Ball. Probably will get another Grubbin with this. Doesn't want Azul to take him out, but...
Right. It is important to have your engine on the bench going.
Absolutely.
As you predicted, yet again, we see the Grubbin come down.
Yeah, definitely want to keep multiple in play. Buzzwole can just very easily, you know, it's such a fast and aggressive deck, it can very easily just take these knockouts on these 70 HP little bugs, so...
It's always when you run the risk of playing those evolution Pokemon that you get punched out just a bit too soon. But let's see. We have one beefy boy on Azul's side.
Yep. Over to Azul's turn. He does have a Floatstone. He looks like he has an Ultra Ball as well. He could go find Tapu Lele for maybe like a Guzma with this. And take out a Bulu, take out a Grubbin. We'll see what he wants to do. Maybe just spread damage as we've seen him do through the past few turns. Who actually could also even get a Lycanroc, doesn't even need a Guzma, can just Lycanroc bring up whatever he wants. And since he used Absorption GX, he can Knuckle Impact this turn. As you see on screen there, Buzzwole GX's Knuckle Impact attack does 160 damage, but you can't use it in consecutive turns. Since he Absorptioned, he now gets to use Knuckle Impact.
Right. There's the Tapu Lele.
Tapu Lele comes out. We'll see what he gets here with this. I think if you're Azul, you definitely want to try to get another Remoraid in play this turn since your last one went down.
Right.
You definitely want to get an energy attachment on probably another Buzzwole. Lycanroc will not be a super effective attacker since he's already used his GX attack this game.
Right.
But of course, still very good for that Bloodthirsty Eyes ability.
Another Ultra Ball.
Double Ultra Ball on this turn.
For the Sudowoodo.
Yeah, as we talked about in Game 1, Sudowoodo extremely powerful against Tapu Bulu. Here we go. We're going to see the
Bloodthirsty Eyes go bring up that Bulu, and then the Cynthia for a fresh hand of 6.
Yep, not a bad turn from Azul.
Not at all.
Got the strong energy on the Sudowoodo, and it's kind of interesting, honestly. If you're Azul, you maybe would have been fine bringing up the Tapu Lele and knocking out the Lele, since that takes away Drew's option to, that kind of forces Drew into using Nature's Judgment, and then you can Sudowoodo to just copy that to take your last 2 prizes to win the game. But at the same time, taking out Tapu Bulu is definitely always very good.
Oh, definitely, especially if he doesn't have any Vigavolts anyways right now.
Yep, and Azul is, he's just so far ahead this game. Drew had a very bad start, with no Grubbin until like turn 3 or 4, and Azul, I think, is just going to be able to run away with this one most likely.
Down to 2 prizes now after this. Bulu has been knocked out. This Buzzwole is taking some huge hits.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to get those 3 energies so soon.
Doing a lot of work here. And, if Drew can't respond to it, there's a chance that this one single Buzzwole could take all 6 of Azul's prizes this game.
Would not be surprised. I've seen this deck do it many times before.
Absolutely.
As we said before, this deck is so versatile, so strong, so fast.
Sometimes you just get a quick Buzzwole GX and your opponent just cannot deal with it.
Yeah. Drew looking very frustrated right now, tossing his hand down.
Definitely not where you want to be in round number 2 on stream against one of the best players in the world right now.
Right.
Like we said, Drew is a great player himself, been around the game for a long time. And as we've seen this game, he's played extremely smart this entire set. Just pretty unfortunate the way this game had to start for him.
Exactly. Ultra Ball coming down. Debating on discarding 2 things. There's a Sycamore. Ooh. I know he has an energy in hand. He has a Skyla as well, so he's Ultra Balling and Skyling at the same time. I have a feeling we'll see Vikavolt Candy here for some reason.
This one
just a hunch.
100% signals Vikavolt Rare Candy to me. And he'll be able to instruct to draw a couple cards here potentially as well. I think there is a Grass Energy in his hand, so what he can do potentially...
Pray for the Bulu, hopefully.
I think he's hoping for a Tapu Bulu But that wouldn't do it for him. He would also need a choice band as well. So off of these 2 cards, that would be pretty crazy to find. Oh yeah, no.
Almost discarding that.
Vikavolt does not go to the discard pile, Drew. It does get to come into play, and we got that figured out real fast. Here's the there's a choice band.
Oh.
What was that other card? It wasn't a nest ball, was it? No.
No.
Oh, I don't think so.
No.
Oh,
if he's
gosh.
attaching there.
I saw the choice band. I was like, oh my goodness, is he gonna pull this off? But no, unfortunately, it doesn't look like he did. Debating putting that grass energy on to the Oranguru.
I'm not sure.
Here comes a strong charge. Oh, maybe.
No.
Yeah, it looks like it was an energy recycler. Was the other card?
Definitely something you need to keep, but at the same time, it's rough.
Definitely. Looks like he's gonna strong charge. You know, he may just attack with Tapu Lele, and you know, surprisingly, Drew is kind of safe here to attack. I say that very, very like timidly. You know, Azul can't just win with a Guzma since you know the Tapu Lele is in the active spots. There's no 2 prize Pokemon on the bench. But what Azul could do is potentially make a really, really big Sudowoodo here with multiple energies, with strong energies, and get an energy drive knockout with Sudowoodo this turn. But unfortunately, I would have loved to have seen that play. Looks like he's not going to go for it.
Bit too crazy, I think. He's playing a bit conservatively here.
Yeah.
Attaching to his other Buzzwole GX, getting that energy spread around the bench just in case the current beefy boy is knocked out.
Yep. And you know, this is just smart play from Azul. Sure, he could have gone for that play I was talking about and really tried to pull it off, but he would have had to dig for a lot of cards, I think, to do it. And, you know, he just wants to be safe. He's in such a commanding position at this point in the game, right? He just wants to make sure he doesn't do anything that's going to, you know, lose him the game. He's only at 2 prizes remaining. You know, Drew is at 5 prizes remaining. This is Azul's game to lose at this point. If he messes up, you know, that's just going to, like, it's Azul's game to lose, as in, you know, he has to make a mistake, I think, to lose the game at this point. So
he's very ahead on prizes, is what we're saying.
Absolutely.
So we Guzma'd up this Vikavolt. We have a Lele with a Float Stone. We're going to see the retreat back into the Buzzwole GX with a load of energy, knocking out that Vikavolt.
Knuckle Impact coming out, doing a ton of damage due to that fighting weakness over there on Vikavolt's side, 320 damage.
It's a fantastic play on Azul's part right there, knocking out his only way of getting more energy onto that Lele at this point, beyond the manual attachment. Looks
like Drew is going to be setting up for an energy recycler here.
Yep.
Sure enough, going to put those 3 basic energies back into the deck.
He does have 1 grass in hand, it seems, but I didn't see much else.
He'll be able to get the knockout here with Tapu Lele's energy drive, but all Azul needs is 1 energy, and he can get the knockout with that Buzzwole on the bench. Even if Drew was to find a Field Blower to get rid of that Choice Band, Azul can find strong energy, and that wouldn't even matter because he has Regirock EX in play, which makes Knuckle Impact do 170. So just checking how many cards are in Azul's hand.
Is he potentially going for an N here after attaching?
Looks like he's just going to load up this Tapu Lele.
Oh.
Nope, maybe. He has a Guzma in his... Yeah, I know. Look at it. He has a Guzma in his hand.
As well as the Choice Band.
Oh, maybe not. Yep, Choice Band comes down. Instruct can draw him a couple of cards. Looks like he will finally attach to the Oranguru. Instruct finds him a Cynthia so he can play a supporter at least.
Better. Cynthia saves the day here with a fresh hand of 6 for Drew. That hand was looking quite exhausted.
Absolutely. Yeah, and Azul's just showing, hey, I have the energy. You can knock out this Buzzwole GX, but all I have to do is attach an energy here to my benched Buzzwole, and I'll easily be able to knock out your Tapu Lele. So that is a, you know, 2-0 there from Azul, and a good spot to be in to defend his regional championship title here.
Fantastic games from both players, honestly.
Yeah, really intelligent play displayed by both players, so I'm glad we got to feature this match. And we'll see more from these guys later on in the day, I'm sure, because we saw great play. They're playing 2 really good decks, 2 of the, I would say, more popular decks in this format, being Buzzwole Lycanroc and Tapu Bulu Vikavolt. So. And
honestly, I'd say probably some of the stronger choices for today.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was a good game here in round number 2. We'll see if we can maybe get